Okay, we're going to go over Don't Miss 2D design real quick. There's a couple of things that we will talk about in the future, which will be Don't Miss 3D. And the reason why we're using the Don't Miss series is because I really like the fact that I could go through and teach you guys basic things with 2D and 3D, and I don't have to do any complex coding that involves physics or anything like that because I could use very simple concepts like materials to make the game a lot easier on us. We could have a pre-built system that Unity provides for us, do a lot of the work, and then all we really need to do is move characters around. So let's go into the first slide here. Okay, so there's a couple of things we wanted to do when we first open up our game. We want to be looking at the main menu. And what the scenes function is going to do is show us the title, of course. We want to know what we're playing, and we got to have a couple of button options. Our button options are going to be exit game and new game. You can see that right there in the GUI interaction. Exit game is really self-explanatory. The way we want the game to flow is we want the player to come back to the main menu every time they want to exit the game. The reason why we do this is because the players are familiar with this concept. The concept of I need to back out to the main menu and exit. In game, what we're going to have is we're going to have two players on the screen on the same keyboard, knocking a ball back and forth on the screen and trying to get it into the other person's goal. It's very simple, been redone a lot, and it will be great for our tutorial. So a few things we want it to do is we want the ball to speed up as the time goes on, make it more difficult. If you're just sitting there and the ball goes back and forth, it will get very repetitive and the game's not fun. So if it goes faster, it makes it actually entertaining. When I was working on this, I realized that for simplicity reasons, we had to make it to where the home player is served every time. Being that it's two players on one keyboard, it will be okay if the players have to switch places. We want to display the score at the top of the screen. Of course, we want the game to stop when the game is over. When we see game over, we don't want anything else to be going on. And for functionality, we want a reset button and we want a main menu button. So that way, like we said, we can go back to the main menu and exit out. Okay, so let's get into this real quick. If you look real close, I think you can see it. I'm running Unity 5.2.2. We're going to create a new project by clicking on New. And I'm going to name it Don't, a little bit of typo there, Miss 2D. And I just want it to look good. There you go. Don't Miss 2D. And then I'm going to send this to my desktop. Select folder, dash, don't miss 2D, underscore, and for me, it's just going to be a temp, so I'm going to go underscore temp. And down here, you see 3D and 2D. If you're running Unity 5 and ahead, you'll be looking at this screen. Anything older, the setup is a lot different. But we want to go with 2D, so that way we don't got to switch over to perspective or anything like that on the main camera right off the bat. So 2D, got my name there, got my file location. I'm going to press create project. Alright, the first thing we're going to do when we fire up Unity is that we're going to make sure that everybody is looking at the same view. Up here on the top, you'll see window, layouts, and I'm going to revert to factory settings. You'll see everything change around on my screen a little bit. There we go. Now we're all looking at the same thing. If you look over here on our left, we've got our hierarchy. On our right, we've got our inspector. And down here in the bottom, we've got our project. In our project, we're going to start creating new folders. We need a couple different folders. We need a prefabs folder, scripts, sprites, materials, and scenes. So I'm just going to go ahead and make these real fast. I'm going to make prefabs. Right click, create folder, scripts. Enter, right click, create folder, sprites. I also need a materials. Make sure I spell that properly. Folder, and the last one is scenes. Now I'm going to import some assets. In order to get a hold of these, you guys can grab them off my website on the downloads page. Right here, don't miss 2D, click download file, and extract that to the desktop. So I'm going to minimize that. In Unity, I'm going to drag it over to the side and open up my don't miss assets that I have extracted to my desktop. and I do not want the assets underscore raw file. That's for you guys if you want to modify anything that I made, but I'm just going to select by holding control. Hold on. And then drag them over into my scene underneath the project tab. So I'm going to close out of that now. The reason why you want the PNGs is because they have the transparencies. Now these are all what you would call sprites. Drag these over into our sprites folder. Okay, I think this is actually a really good spot to cut in. We're going to split this up into multiple videos, that way they don't get too long. What we did in this video is we went through and we imported our assets and created our files that we'll be using throughout the project. And we're all looking at the same screen. As you guys see, when I originally fired up, I was using the animator and everything like that, and it'll be a lot easier for us all to work together if we all have the same assets and if we all are looking at the same thing. With the next video, we will be covering the main menu UI, so we'll be creating a canvas and going over the buttons and everything like that, and because of it, we'll have to create the game manager with it. The game manager is what will load the scenes and will, in the end, allow us to exit the game. Alright guys, that's the end of the first video. You can click right here to go straight to the next video, click here to go to our website, or click right here to go to Facebook. Thanks guys.